Hi, my name is Jim Clark, and I'm an attorney. I represent landlords and active real estate investors. And today, I'm here to talk about you guys. I'm going to shine a mirror on you. I'm going to tell you what I see from my perspective. I'm an observer. I'm a student. I've seen a lot of success in my practice and much more failure. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I see. Now, I'm not an authority, I'm not an expert, I'm just a lawyer. Being a lawyer is about lawyering. What that means is being able to mediate differences, argue for one side as strongly as the other, two opposing forces resisting one another, and then the arguments between the two are balanced, mediated, and a momentary resolution is found. Now, this is true in the law, in business, and in life. Dark and light, good and evil, hot and cold, chaos and order, hard-working and lazy, rich and poor. There are no absolutes. Everything is just a matter of weighing opposing sides and finding the right balance. This is reflected in the way we're governed by laws as a society, in our homes, as we set rules for our kids, the laws of nature, as well as our own inner stuff. So in my experience, the skills in negotiating a conflict between litigating parties, applying laws to find a balanced resolution, are no different than negotiating success in real estate. Real estate investing is a brutal business. It's competitive, and there's a lot of money involved, so it's not just going to be given to you. You have to go get it. You have to be hungry. Anyone can get a good deal, but to be successful in the long term and make a living as a real estate investor, you have to dig deep. We're in the midst of an extremely competitive market. We've got rising property values, greater numbers of buyers flooding the market, rising interest rates, less foreclosures, real estate brokers who now have a number of investors they can call on when they get a good deal. These are all things that have a huge impact on the way you do business. And they're all things that you have absolutely no control over. Now, that's a very unsettling thing, especially to a group of hard-charging, self-made, self-reliant people who are used to being in charge, in control. So what do? Well, you could try to get a better handle on these things that are outside your control. Try and tame them a bit. That's very tempting because it seems like the most direct solution to a clear problem. But I'm not so sure that's the best solution. Sure, if you find ways to get an edge, by all means take it. But to stake your future on it, to build a career on it, in my experience, I've found that to be dangerous. This is an unforgiving business. And if you're in it long enough, your weaknesses eventually get exposed, and you find that the tips, tactics, and tricks you string together because it was expedient are the equivalent of running into battle with a shield made of Swiss cheese. Your odds of surviving at that point are next to nothing. What you really need is a boat that doesn't sink. We're going to get to how you can get a better handle on things outside your control. But before we do that, I'm going to discuss how you get yourself better by tending to the things that are completely within your power to improve upon. When I take a look at my own experiences, those of clients who've made it, are making it, or have failed, I've found it's not so much about what they know as it is who they are and what they do with that. Now, the title of this segment is Foundations for Success. So what do we mean by foundation? A foundation is defined as the basis or underlying principle for something. With a house, it's what you build upon. Everyone knows you build a house on solid stuff like concrete or stone, and it includes the thing you set your foundation upon, which is solid ground. You don't build a house on top of quicksand, right? This concept is as true for a house as it is for a career in real estate investment as it is when I build a case for a client, as it is for anything else. I don't care what you're building, you need a foundation, and that means putting the solid, immovable stuff at the bottom or at the core, and the more dynamic material on top or at the outer edges. I mention the importance of a foundation here because too often I see people trying to build their real estate investment careers on stuff that doesn't last. The stuff that has flair, the stuff that moves or is changeable, but also the stuff that gets old or goes out of style. I always use the example of a kid trying to reach something in a tall cabinet in the kitchen they're not supposed to be getting. And they're standing on the edge of a chair, basically about to fall over, reaching as far as they possibly can. And it's all good and well until the whole thing falls down. It's very flimsy, likely to fall. I see this a lot with real estate investors. They're reaching for that goal, that thing that's just out of reach, balancing on the edge. You could take a minute and just get yourself a solid stool or a ladder. But in the interest of expedience, a lot of people just stand on the edge of that chair. In a market as competitive as the one we're in, you're going to get yourself killed doing that kind of thing. So what does it mean to have a solid foundation? Well, we're going to go through a few things here. We're going to go through first what I call the four-legged stool. And that includes these four principles: what you want, why you want it, where you are, and who you are. What do you want? This is a tough question. And if you're being honest with yourself, there's no easy answers, but it's eminently important to know. If you don't know what you want, you will drift along aimlessly. Worse than that, you'll be subject to the whims of what everyone else and what they think you should want. What you want, by definition, can't be shaped by outside forces. It's not what you should want, it's what you want. This is something that's got to come from within. What is it that motivates you? What would you do if money was no object? Most often when I ask investors this question, and I ask it a lot, the response I get is the same. They want money. And I understand the reasons for that. Everyone sees the big names, the mega rich. A lot of them made their fortunes investing in real estate, so it's natural that those who are motivated by money would be interested in real estate investment. But if what you want is just the money, then I would encourage you to do the math first. You might be surprised at what it will take in terms of time and effort to make the kind of money you want in real estate versus staying with your full-time job or doing something else completely different. What I'm saying is that there's a sacrifice that you'll need to make if you're solely in it for the money. If money is your master, then by definition, you are its slave. What this means is that if it's just about the money, you'll find that you'll keep doing things you don't want to be doing. Many investors get into real estate because they see it as a way to get out of their full-time job. With money as your sole motivating force, you'll get away from that job that you hate, but you'll still end up doing things that you don't want to do. You may think you're after the money, but what you're really after is what the money can do for you. Money in and of itself is nothing, but it's also a symbol of almost everything. So what you really want to think about is, what is it that you want the money to do for you? Start there and then work backwards as you think about what it is that you want. Don't let someone else or something like money dictate what you want. This is something that is for you alone. You didn't get into real estate to have your path forged by someone else. You got into real estate because there's a free spirit in there waiting to be unleashed on the world. So watch what other people are doing to be successful. Surround yourself with people smarter than you are. Learn how other people achieve success, but choose a path that is unique to you. I'm here to tell you that you have within yourself right now all that you need to succeed. Everything else you come across is just a tool to help you learn how to use it. Take the time and figure out what it is you want. This is time well spent, because once you figure out what that is, then you'll stop at nothing to get it.